So today we're going to chat about where the vertebrae are in the horse's neck. As you can see, the horse's neck is very long, and a common misconception is that the vertebrae, so the neck bones, run quite high along this crest. But that's actually wrong. They actually start more on the lower base here, and how they orientate is very much dependent on conformation. Now, there are 7 vertebrae in the horse's neck, but generally we can only feel 5 to 6 of them depending on conformation and how well set their shoulder is. In Zorro, we can get all the way to about C6, so C referring to cervical, which is the name of the vertebrae in the horse's neck. So the first one that you can feel is around this pole region, up here. So the top of the pole here is the top of the first vertebrae in the neck, which is often referred to as the atlas. So this little mark I put here is right at the top. As you can see, Zorro is really stoic and lets me pod and poke him. Here is generally the sort of transverse or wing of the atlas, roughly in this area, but the whole atlas is relatively huge. Next we go on to C2. C2 is known as being a lot longer compared to the other, and its orientation is just slightly different. Then everything seems a little bit closer together by comparison to the top 2, and we go to C3, C4, C5 and C6. Now C6 in him is partially covered by his shoulder, and C7, because there is 7 vertebrae in the neck, will be behind the shoulder blade, and where it will then transition into the thoracic vertebrae and sort of change how it looks in appearance. I'll pop a little picture up for you to show that transitional change. So in horses, the bones do not go up the neck, they actually run alongside the base of the neck. And often this big meaty muscle here is where they're going to be sitting in them. So depending on how well developed they are, you might see some sort of bulbous ball shaped within that muscle. That's nothing generally to worry about, that is likely just the vertebral bodies poking through the muscle of it.